Chris with CFB Creations. As you may or may not know, newer phones have wireless charging capabilities. That just means you don't have to plug it in to charge. You can just set it in a charger and it charges with through induction. So it's charging now. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a charger that you can just leave on your nightstand or wherever you want, on your desk, anywhere you want to leave it. And then you can just pick up your phone and set it in as you want to charge it. So let's get started. So for this wireless phone charger, I ordered one of these phone charger coil circuits off of Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description if you're interested in getting one yourself. But basically all it is it's just this tiny circuit board, and then there's this coil that feeds that charges the phone through induction. And then it's just charged via USB. So for this phone charger that I'm making, this section right here between the circuit board and the coil is a little bit too short. So I've never done this before, but I'm going to try to desolder this coil and add a short span of wire and see if it still works. So first I'm going to test the circuit board and make sure it works to begin with before I even start. Okay, so it works. Now I'm going to desolder the coil. Coil's desoldered. Now I'm only going to add a couple inches. I don't have any heat shrink. I used to, but so what I'm just going to put electrical tape on it after I'm done. But I'm just going to solder these together initially to make sure that this will work. You can tell I've had this solder for a while. It's from Radio Shack. I got the two extensions on. All right, now I'll plug it in again and ensure that adding those two links didn't affect the device itself. All right, so it still works. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the woodworking portion of building this. Now I have to create the recess in the wood so that um, the induction coil can sit as close to the phone as possible. Because if there's too big of a gap, it won't charge. And before everybody loses their mind that I'm going to use a CNC to do this, just realize you can do the same thing with a regular router and a jig. I'm just using a CNC because I already have one and I don't feel like building a jig. So if you don't have a CNC, you can just use a regular router for this part. So there's the recess that I just made. It allows the coil to fit nicely in there and be very close to the other side where the phone is actually going to sit. At this point, after you get your recess made, you want to make sure that that this part is not too thick. So I'm gonna just, while I'm just holding everything, I'm gonna hold the induction coil all the way down inside of its recess, and I'm gonna hold my phone up against here and see if it charges. All right. So the phone charges. You just got to hold it perfectly since there's no borders or edges to hold it. But now that you know the phone charges, you can continue on and start gluing everything together. So this is going to be the part that the circuit board sits on, and it doesn't sit just flat because of the USB connector right here. So I'm just going to take and chisel out a little notch right there for it to fit. This doesn't have to be accurate. Now once we're on the circuit board, you'll sit flat and flush and be more secure. Alright, that'll never go anywhere. So now for the coil, I'll put it down in the bottom of the recess. Close it in with some hot glue. Make sure you hold it till the glue solidifies a little bit so it doesn't try to separate from the wood. Now, one last time before I start gluing everything together, I got it clamped together how it's gonna be. I want to make sure my phone charges. Yep. Alright, so phone charger works. Now I can unclamp it and start gluing it together for real. Now that the glue's all dried and everything, I'm just gonna clean up some of the edges that stick out on the sander. Alright, so here's the charger. It's all done. Sanded everything. And my wife, being a woman, she wants it painted pink. So I figured I'd show you what mine looks like stained. I like the having the wood being able to show through. I used a slightly different design when I made mine, but it makes the charger cable point down, which is not ideal, as opposed to this method where it comes straight up the back. But other than that, the fronts look the same, and now I just got to paint this one. Well, the paint's dry now, so I guess that wraps up this video. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, have a good one.